South Korea's military says Pyongyang is preparing to deploy more troops and equipment to Russia to aid Moscow's war against Ukraine. Now, Seoul said it detected signs that Pyongyang is producing and supplying more suicide drones that were first unveiled during an inspection by leader Kim Jong-un last month. Now, this on top of the multiple rocket launchers and self-propelled artillery that North Korea has already provided Russia. Seoul, Washington and Kyiv have previously said that there are around 12,000 North Korean troops in Russia. According to the South Korean spy agency, the number of casualties is estimated to be around 1,100. South Korea said growing military ties between the North and Russia could be part of Pyongyang's efforts to gain practical warfare experience as well as modernize its weapon system, both of which could pose greater threats to Seoul. Thousands of North Korean soldiers have been mobilized along the heavily fortified Korean border since April to reinforce roads and install anti-tank barriers. Well, we've got Alex Kadir joining us live from Kyiv. Alex, the Ukrainian military has previously been accused of using foreign troops to mask the actual true figures of casualties. But are there any significant gains being made by either Kyiv or Russia at this point?
Well, certainly that accusation from Ukraine has been one we have heard several times of Russia masking casualty numbers, particularly masking North Korean casualty numbers in the Kursk region, where those North Korean troops are currently fighting Ukrainian forces. We know that in that Kursk region of Russia, where the Ukrainians launched a counteroffensive a few months ago, Russia continues to make gains, pushing Ukrainian forces out of Kursk with the help of those North Korean forces. I spoke to a couple of soldiers on the front line on the Ukrainian side, saying that the North Korean soldiers, as they saw it, were very brave but very poorly trained. Nevertheless, Russia making some gains, some tactical gains in that Kursk region against the Ukrainian counter-offensive. Elsewhere on the battlefield, particularly near the Ukrainian city of Kharkiv, we have seen a village being taken by Russian forces. To give you a sense of scale, a lot of these villages are very, very small and broadly abandoned. You're looking at places that before the full-scale invasion would have had maybe 300-400 people living there. So these are very small gains at great cost. As we've heard, those Russian casualty numbers estimated by the United States, by the United Kingdom and Ukraine are still very, very high. Another village taken in the Donetsk region near the town of Pokrovsk. That particular town seems to be the hottest point on the front line. 34 Russian attempts to breach Ukrainian defenses near the town of Pokrovsk just in the next 24 hours. So not a lot of movement, still some Russian progress, but certainly very violent clashes to get to that progress.
Now, off the battlefield, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has landed himself in a little bit of hot soup in his criticism of Germany's leader. Is that in any way impacting his ongoing push for NATO membership?
No, in a word, that will not be a defining part of that membership, particularly because we know that the incoming Trump administration is very skeptical of Ukraine joining NATO, and some European partners also are not sure about that being the path forward. And of course, unanimity between NATO allies is necessary to welcome a new country, and certainly Ukraine cannot, under NATO's rules, join whilst it's in an active war. So that prospect remains challenging, achievable, according to President Zelensky. He was talking to Ukrainian diplomats yesterday, saying the prospect of joining NATO is achievable, but it would have to require all their efforts at every level to convince allies to allow that to happen. So certainly that will be a very challenging opportunity for Ukraine. They want to join NATO. They have said NATO is the security guarantee to ensure Russia does not continue their invasion of their country. But certainly at the moment, being critical of Olaf Scholz, particularly as he seems to be leaving office when the next election comes in Germany in February, does not seem a game changer at this point, but it shows a little bit of friction between Ukraine and its European allies.
Yeah, all right, we'll leave it there for now. Many thanks. Alex Kadir reporting live to us from Kyiv.